Right, now we are recording. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah, so that way that we've just done this question, that won't work if people aren't watching them one after the other. Doesn't matter. That way that we just did it was the way that they probably expected you to do it, because they asked you these three things first to lead you into that way of using alpha, beta, gamma, and all of those results that we just established to work it out. But they're asking you for a cubic equation with those roots, so we could do it another way. We could do it using a substitution. So what we're going to say now is that for part 2, instead, we would like to let u, we can use any letter we like, so let's use u, be equal to alpha squared. Now, the thing about this is, we know that alpha is a root of that original equation. So if we could find what alpha is, we could sub it into that equation. It must fit, it must work. So that means that alpha is the square root of u. Now, strictly speaking, we probably ought to put a plus or minus in here. But as we work through it, we're going to end up squaring it to get rid of the plus, or to get rid of the square root. We are going to end up squaring or working out, at which point the plus or minus will disappear. So I think it's alright not to bother putting in the plus or minus, to just take the positive square root as we do our working out. Alpha is a solution of that equation. Alpha is one of the roots of that equation. So what that means is that 3 times alpha cubed, so root u cubed, minus 9 times alpha squared, so 9 times root u squared, plus 6 times root u, plus 2, must be equal to 0. So that's our start point with this. Now we just need to tidy this up. This isn't a cubic equation. In terms, it's not a cubic equation at the moment as it stands, is it? It's a cubic. Well, it's got all sorts of stuff going on. It's got root u in there. It's an equation, a cubic equation in u to the half, which isn't particularly of any value to us. We want to do something better with this. Root u cubed. Think kind of surds from core 1. That's root u times root u times root u. Well, yeah, it's root u, isn't it? The first 2 of those is just u. So that's 3u root u. Root u, when you square it, is u. So that's minus 9u, plus 6 root u, plus 2. It's looking better, but it's still not quite there. What I'd like to do is isolate root u, get root u onto its own. So, can I rearrange things a little bit? Well, we'll do it step by step. Let's keep the root u terms on that side and put the other terms, that's going to be a minus, over onto the other side. So it looks like that. So what do we have? We've got this that we can factorise, can't we? We've got a common factor here of 3 root u times u plus 2. Is 9u minus 2. Now, there's all things I could do here. I could keep on going with my rearranging until I get root u equals, and then square both sides. But actually I think as long as I'm careful with what I do, I can square both sides of this equation now and it will work. I've got root u out as a factor, so I'm going to square everything now. As long as I do it carefully. Squaring the 3 gives me 9. Squaring root u gives me u. I've got u plus 2 squared. And I've got 9u minus 2 squared. So let's be careful with things here. I've got 9u times u squared plus 4u plus 4. And I think I've got 81u minus 36, u squared, sorry, minus 36u plus 4. I think that's right. That would be right, wouldn't it? Minus 18 and another 18. plus 4 at the end of it. So I have 9u cubed plus 36u squared, 9u times 4u, plus 36u is 81u squared minus 36u plus 4, and for no apparent reason I wrote 6 there instead of 3. Throw everything over onto one side, we've got 9u cubed. Now what have we got? Is that minus 45? It is, I think. We've got plus 72, u, and a minus 4. Would be 0. Now, our equation that we're aiming for, there, we've done it, by the way. We've got our cubic. The roots of this cubic are alpha squared, beta squared, gamma squared. It's not the cubic that we're talking about, though, because the coefficient of x cubed is 1 in that one. So let's divide by 9 to give us u cubed minus 5u squared plus 8u minus 4/9 is 0. And remember, the question was asking us to compare this with x cubed plus ax squared plus bx plus c is 0. So it did ask us for the values of a, b and c, so we have to actually finish it off by saying a equals minus 5, b equals 8, c equals minus 4/9. We know that that's not what they intended when they wrote the question, because the question did say, show that c is minus 4/9 and find the values of a and b. And you normally expect to take those instructions in sequence, and actually we ended up finding the values of a and b, and then very, very quickly after that saying that, showing that c was minus 4/9. But it's still, it's a great way of doing it, and it's up to you. You take your choice about which is easier. I would personally say that's probably a little bit easier than the other way of doing it, but it's up to you. This bit, this step here, where we isolate the root u and then we square it, I think that's the crucial step, isn't it? Remembering that that's how you get rid of your root u. And that's a bit sneaky, it's a bit kind of tricky spotting that. But there it is. And that's maths. Yeah, this is all that now.
Yeah.
What Charlie's on Twitter.
Go.
Which one is it? Just the red button.